rumor. There's a rumor. The live action Miles Morales will be set in a rebooted Sony universe that will be established after Avengers Secret Wars. So, Jerry, this was very interesting, right? Because we heard that, Sony had a Marvel movie that was scheduled for this year. They obviously canned that. They ended up canning the guy that was their main Spider-Man universe contact. He was even doing some work with, Spider-Man with, Kevin Feige in the MCU. He got canned. So it does look like they're trying to kind of reform what's going on in their Spider-Man division. You and I have talked a lot about Miles and being, Sony Spider-Man. So how do you feel about that potentially happening, about them kind of leaving Peter Parker to be in the MCU and them focusing on Miles? And I'm gonna throw this other rumor that just came out literally right before we hopped on. So there was a rumor that came out literally like not even like a half hour ago, where they said that it's a rumor that the Spider-Verse is getting moved to 2028, which is very interesting that they're going to do that when they talk about the fact that they're trying to set up Miles for after Secret Wars. So how do you feel about this whole Miles rumor situation that's going on?
So I'm going to run through all the moving parts, and I'm going to kind of use that to come to my conclusion. Yep. Because
I'll let you cook.
Before I start, I'm going to let you know I'm kind of torn. I think that there's good reasons for and against, and we're going to go through them. Number one, and this is aside from creativity, but it kind of has something to do with it. Sony, Miles Morales wouldn't be where he is today without Sony. Period. End of story. So you got to give them their due. Number one. Number two, I think it would be cool to see Miles in the MCU, but I do think it would create some challenges around what they would do with Miles and Peter at the same time. Number one. Number two, Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man. So if they could keep Sony happy and let them have Miles Morales, is that such a bad thing? But Sony doesn't have the greatest track record recently with live action. Would that create a problem? How would they treat a new universe centered around Miles Morales? Would it be quality like the Spider-Verse movies, or would it be more Madam Web BS? We really have no idea. There's no way to know. None of us have a crystal ball. Maybe Marvel says, hey, we're going to do whatever the hell we want with Peter Parker, and you get to build your universe around Miles Morales. And I think that might be the best idea, because it's going to be difficult to bring Miles Morales into the MCU with Peter. Having said that, I really do want to see him in Secret Wars. I would love to see Miles in the MCU. I do think Marvel could make that happen. They have the greatest creatives on the planet. But I still don't think it's an easy feat. But I also think like they obviously have a lot of conflict with Sony over the Spider-Man rights, and maybe that is the way to make everyone happy. I mean, I've already said like they should each do their own Spider-Man thing and shut up, and like that. This kind of seems to me the way that happens. And yeah, like I kind of think that this might be the move.
I agree, bro. I think that this is the smartest thing that they've ever done in a long time with live action Spider-Man. I think that Miles Morales is the future of live action Marvel when it comes to Spider-Man, and I think he's going to he's going to play a really big part in just live action going to the next step. And with the competition of the DCU, you're going to need a guy like Miles. You know what I mean? Because the DCU is taking off, if Superman does well and if all the cards go in his right way, they're going to be on a big road. And Miles Morales needs to be a part of that, vision for Marvel as a whole. Because sometimes, guys, we tend to separate Sony and MCU, but the reality is Marvel's Marvel, man. If Miles works in Sony and we got Peter Parker doing his thing, everything rises as a whole. You know what I mean? So we should really take it that way. So I think this is a great idea. And they have so many different Spider-Man characters that you don't really need to be so hoggy with, Peter Parker. And I think Peter Parker in the MCU is the best decision. I do see some issues with Miles live action that I think is going to be a kind of like I think this is going to be a hard road to get there, bro. I think the casting is going to be very hard, because of the fact that this animated version that they have, I think is so stamped that a lot of fans are going to have a hard time when they see that the live action might not possibly be the same as what they cast. Someone
Bro,
like
that's the same thought process I said to you last week about recasting Iron Man.
yeah, yeah. And I hate how everything always comes back like a wheel, but it's facts though, because that look and the way he acts, like not every actor is going to be able to replicate that. You know what I mean?
And he's gonna have to. He's going to have to be better than that. He's
yes,
going to have to be better
and that's going to be very hard.
Yeah,
that's going to be very hard.
Especially because it's like you're able to perfect an animation. You know, you really can't perfect an acting, but they're gonna have to find a kid who is like,
yeah, like the next Timothy Chalamet type of actor.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. He's out there. You know, you're getting paid to be a casting director for Sony. Make it happen, bro.
100%.
You know, I'm a firm believer. Like, if you have the job, live up to it. So let's see it. But you know, Miles is a great character. You know, one of the things I love about Miles is like, I love his, like, you know, he is Spider-Man, and a lot of Marvel is very science-based, and you know, Miles is like that, but he's also very tech-based. And you know, his villains, the way he deals with them, a lot of them are the same as Peter. He gets some of his own. Really cool. So I would like to see them bring in more of Miles's own villains rather than Peter's, even though he does mess with some of the coolest Peter Spider-Man villains. Just because I think that they have done really well with the Spider-Verse. And I think a big part of that is it feels so fresh and new. And I think villains that, you know, like, you know, yeah, he has an experience with Venom, but like if you bring Venom, you know, people already know Venom, and it's not going to feel fresh, new, and innovative unless you bring in these cool characters like the Spot. Like, that was awesome. You know, but the Spot is also a Peter Parker villain originally, but people don't really know who he is. So you get my point. Prowler, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I would love to see it. I can't wait to see the Miles Morales live action, and I can't wait to see Spider-Verse 3. And yeah, it's disappointing. It's coming in 2028, but we have so much shit coming between now and then. Like, whatever.
Just wait till we talk about X-Men guys in a bit. Just wait till we talk about that. That's some wild news about that. But yeah, bro, I agree. Like, it seems like it's long, but as you said, the docket right now for us, movie wise, is just insanity for the next 5 years. Like, we're in for a treat. So yeah, man. But I've always said this forever that I like having two Spider-Mans, the Miles and I've been saying that since like I think Avengers Endgame, bro, or when Into the Spider-Man came out. I was like, yo, why can't we just get both going on in live action? So that would be super exciting. All right, let's see.